Welcome everyone to another episode of the e-commerce lab by Ecomcy. My name is Vincenzo Toscano, founder and CEO of Ecomcy, and today we're going to be running another session for questions and answers. For everybody joining for the first time, remember these sessions are going to be running every week on Tuesday, 5 p.m. GMT time, UK time. And this session is basically created for you guys to get value out of any questions that you may have regarding the Amazon space, e-commerce in general, business, anything that you want to throw at me, feel free to do so. And also remember, as I also mentioned in every session, that if by any chance you can make it to these live sessions, you can always send your questions in advance to our team, and we're going to make sure we cover them here in this session, so you then can see the recording that we're going to be broadcasting through all social media channels. So usually this goes recorded into a YouTube channel, all social media, Instagram, Facebook, and all the podcast channels that are out there. So definitely a lot of channels you can find information in case you don't have time to join me on these live sessions on a weekly basis. Okay, so as I do with every week, I'm gonna start throwing some of the questions we've been recording for the last week or so. And again, as we start also getting some of the last questions from people that just joined live, I'm also going to make sure I drop them into the session and cover them as we proceed to the session. Okay. Finally, I also want to remind you to check our last episode with Steve Simonson. It just went live yesterday. Amazing episode with Steve. I mean, he's an amazing guy, so much experience, so many years in the field. We actually, on that episode, we discussed everything that has to do with the current situation around the e-commerce space, what are the challenges that are coming, what are the things that you should be considering, and how we can basically tackle that with some of the advice he provided. So definitely check that out. Again, it's on all the social media channels, YouTube, podcast, you can find it there. So definitely have a look on it. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to start by bringing some of the questions into the screen, and we're going to get started with today's session of questions and answers. Great. So let's bring the first question of the day. Awesome. So the first question of the day seems to be regarding PPC, how to properly set up Amazon Pro targeting campaigns. Great. Amazon Pro targeting campaigns. So basically, this is a type of campaign for people that might not know. You can gonna find this type of campaigns within usually sponsored products, and you can also do this type of campaigns within a sponsored display type of campaigns, right? So I'm gonna give you a briefing around both and explain what is the proper way to do product targeting campaigns. So the misconception when it comes to product targeting campaigns, that I see a lot of people doing this mistake when creating your PPC campaigns for product targeting, is that most people is going to take just a random list of ASINs that might be your competitors, or just your competitor ranking in your main keyword. They're just going to target them, and that's it. They don't do any filter, right? But realistically, you want to be very methodic when it comes to creating these campaigns, right? Because I have seen most of the time these campaigns become very unprofitable because they keep the targeting around the ASINs that they focus the Amazon PPC campaigns very broad, right? So one of the first things that we like to do when it comes to pro targeting is actually you can filter the type of ASINs that you can target, right? So the first thing that we do is we'd like to target products that are above your price point, right? So we want to make sure that we target a competitor that's selling something very similar to you, but at the same time you may have a better offer and a better pricing. So that is going to mean you can steal some of the traffic from them. That's the first type of product targeting campaign we do. The second type of product targeting campaign that we do is we like to target products that we identify that are getting a relatively high amount of sales, which you can find by using tools such as HELLOTAX and ZONGURU. And then from that report, you want to target the ones that have low ratings, right? Maybe 3 to 4 stars, which are definitely products that have a weak point when it comes to the quality, the offering, and then you can try to target those to also get some sales from them. The third way to do product targeting is with category targeting. So with category targeting, basically you can target a whole category. Again, when you do category targeting within product targeting campaigns, don't target a whole category and that's it, right? Be very methodic in terms of how you target these categories. So the first thing that I would advise you to do within these category targeting campaigns is also make sure you filter based on pricing and also based on reviews, just as we do individually by ASIN, right? And the fourth way of doing product targeting, which is one that I haven't hear a lot of people doing, and we actually do that a lot, is that try to target products that are new in the market, right? Competitors that are just launching. So you can find this very easily using, again, tools such as Helium 10. You go to your main keywords, you then identify what are the keywords that the products that just launched, and you may ask yourself how you can identify that. Very easy. You just go to open your Helium 10 Chrome extension, and you're gonna see a column called listing creation date. So you're gonna sort that by listing creation date from the newest to the oldest, and realistically you're gonna be targeting all the listings that are being created in the last 60 days, right? So why do you want to do that? Remember, guys, most people launching to Amazon, they're gonna be doing similar things that you, like you, right? When you're launching a product, you're gonna be doing aggressive PPC. Maybe they're gonna do some external traffic, etc. Right? That means those listings are getting more traffic than normal because, of course, they're trying to position the product and they're trying to get advantage of what we call the honeymoon period, right? So if you target those products at the same time, because they are new, they're gonna have no reviews. That means they don't have social proof. And if you already have maybe a few reviews, it's gonna be easier for you to try to convert that traffic, and because you're gonna get a massive amount of traffic because of things I just mentioned, usually those campaigns perform very well. So use those two for a type of implementation when you come to product targeting, and you should be seeing some good results there. Okay, awesome. So next question, we actually got a live question here from Fahad. Thank you very much for the question. How much investment is required to do Amazon FBA? So this question is actually kind of tricky because realistically there isn't a fixed one-time amount when it comes to the preferred amount to do Amazon FBA. But realistically, nowadays, when it comes to launching a business on Amazon, you don't want to start with anything less than $10,000. I know it might be a big amount for some people, but take in consideration everything that is happening worldwide with shipping costs increasing, the competition, which means you want to go to high price ticket products like $30 plus and avoid cheap products. If you take all that into consideration, and then the increased cost of PPC, influencer marketing, all strategies that nowadays you need to do to be competitive on Amazon, realistically, you're not going to need at least $10,000. So make sure you have that at least as a budget. Realistically, you want to have more than that, because other thing that I see people doing as a mistake is, let's say right now I say $10,000, they use $10,000, they spend all that into inventory, they spend all that into the launch strategy, but then they have no residual budget to focus on the growth of the brand and the product itself, right? That's a huge mistake. I mean, so many times we have seen amazing products being launched, and they just can't take advantage of the success because they don't have the cash flow to keep growing the business. So make sure whenever you define a budget for your business, at least you have 50% extra. That as an example, if I say as an example here 10,000, at least have 15,000, so you have that extra budget in hand in case of extra costs, and also make sure you have for your second inventory order and so on. Okay, thank you for that question. Awesome. So let's jump into the next question of the day. How to choose which variation to advertise and prioritize. So this one is also a very important question. And we get this a lot whenever we also doing onboarding calls or having weekly calls with our clients. So people just reaching out because there is always a concern. Okay, I have this product, it has 10,000 10,000 colors. No, sorry, 10 colors, 10 different sizes, whatever is a variation that you probably have. And you're going to encounter yourself going into this conflict that you don't know what to do, right? Because you say, okay, should I advertise all of them? Should I focus just on some of them? And the answer, guys, is always focus on the best seller, right? Remember, if you have $100, right, you want to divide that amount 10 variations. If you divide $10 per product, you may have most of the time less performance if you focus 70-80% to your bestseller, and then you have a residual 30-20% budget to explore the variation that don't sell them well, right? Because if you already know that the red color is a flagship in terms of creating a conversions and sales, why you want to diversify your budget among variations that might not be that popular. So make sure you use your flagship variation to advertise that you know conversions are going to be higher, and then always leave, I will say, a residual budget to explore variations that don't sell that much, to also bring some traffic through very custom I would say niche keywords. What do I mean by that? Let's say your main variation that sells the most is the red color. Then you want to make sure that the red one is among your generic big keywords, big search volume keywords. And then, for example, you know, yellow, green color don't sell that well. Then you want to have niche specific keywords. So, for example, if you're selling a water bottle, you want to have green water bottle, yellow water bottle for those variations that don't sell that much, so you can also control those micro niches where the might not be that high. Okay, hopefully that answered your question. Awesome. So let's see which other question we got here in the system. What should I do if my product has high ACOS? Yeah. So yeah, this one is also a tricky one. What happens, and we have seen this happening a lot, because we always have the concern that, okay, I have a high ACOS, I need to lower my ACOS, right? But we have seen also sometimes people, when they try to lower their ACOS, what happens is that the sales also drop, and then you basically start losing all the sales across your whole account. Your organic ranking start dropping, and then it becomes a spiral, right, in terms of going downwards in performance. So because of that, I would say that the first thing that you need to analyze is that if the only way for you to get sales is by having high bids, which means realistically it's going to give you a high ACOS, to keep generating consistently sales, most likely you have two main issues. One of them is conversion, right? It means that you are not converting high enough, paying high bids. That means you may test different images, different listing in terms of title, bullet points, description, or sometimes you might even play around with the price. That's the first thing. The second thing might be competition, guys. I mean, I understand that sometimes we don't want to hear that, but sometimes the reason for high ACOS to be always present is not that you might be doing something wrong when it comes to PPC. Sometimes we have seen amazing PPC structure and keyword targeting, and still the ACOS is high. And sometimes it's due to also competition. We need to be understanding on niche, understanding that sometimes if new competitors come with more aggressive pricing, with better products and better offering, that's going to affect our conversions, right? So always be open mind. Don't always think that the mistake is just on your side. Also analyze your markets and understand why your competition is doing to steal your sales, and try to fix that into your listings. Okay, great. Another question from Fahad. Thank you very much for your answer. I have one more question. Which state is better to do FBA? I have set up my store in Texas. What's your opinion on Texas state for FBA? When it comes to FBA, to be honest, there isn't something better when it comes to FBA as a whole, because remember that when you do Amazon FBA, realistically your inventory is going to be distributed around the whole United States if you're doing in the United States. So that means it's not a fixed state when it comes to running your business. Now, I think what you're referring to realistically is what is the most tax efficient state when it comes to setting up your Amazon business, which I think is what your question is relating to. And regarding to that, I would advise you get in contact with your accountant, right, or your tax advisor, because that's gonna always be dependent on your personal circumstances, where you're based, business, so many factors that for sure we can be discussing today. And also because I'm not a financial advisor, right? So I would advise you to check that and explore which state is more efficient for you when it comes to basically do the creation of your business as a corporation. Okay. Awesome. So let's see which other question we got in here. How do you recommend split testing price? So please, when it comes to testing pricing, is complex, guys, because pricing is something difficult to keep track in terms of how efficient it is in terms of improving your sales, because there are so many other external factors that can come into play. It can be that that specific day you lower the price, right, and sales skyrocket, and then you say, oh, that's amazing, that means lowering the price works. But maybe that specific day other competitors were out of stock, that means more traffic went to your listing, or you're doing something with external traffic that brought traffic into your listing and made more sales. So it's difficult to track like just by doing the change itself. What I would advise you to do is that whenever you do this, make sure you don't test anything else, right? Don't do external traffic, don't do crazy strategies beside the price, so you can know realistically if the price is what is affecting what we call your performance. So actually, very great tool for this. Have a look at EVA, right? EVA is a tool that actually allows you to automate when it comes price testing. And to be honest, something people don't talk a lot about, because most people think that prices should be fixed and you shouldn't be touching that. But realistically, there are powerful ways to actually test pricing and see how it performs. So, if, for example, this tool allow you to do price changes automatically based on specific metrics, and you can have a more clear understanding how price affects your sales, right? Than just do it with a naked eye and try to basically guess, right? So that's an advice if you're looking for a more efficient way to do it. If you want to do it just manually, just take my advice. Don't mix it with anything else. Make sure you do those tests individual, right? So if you're testing price, don't change anything else and just go from there. Okay. Awesome. Let's see which other question we're going to hear. How can I know which sales are coming from organic keywords and which keywords? Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. When it comes to understanding where your sales are coming from, first of all, Amazon doesn't tell you which sales are coming from organic, which sales are coming from advertising, unfortunately, yet. That's something they should definitely be providing in the near future, because it's key for an Amazon business to know that. Now, a way to find out this, very simple. I mean, it's not 100% accurate, because we know the attribution system of Amazon has some delays. But what you can do, let's say you want to understand in the last week how many sales came from PPC, how many sales came from organic. You're gonna go to your business report section, right? You're gonna download the report for the whole sales for that last 7 days. In this case, the last week. Let's say you had 100 sales, right? You go to your PPC campaigns, you see how many sales you did during the last 7 days, and maybe PPC 40, 50 sales came from PPC. You do the subtraction, and the remaining difference is what is organic. So that is a good way, a good estimation, because again, it's not 100% perfect because of the attribution and the delays on the Amazon system to attribute a sales to your account in the PPC side of things. So that's a way to do it. In terms of keywords, if you have brand analytics, there is the new search query report. And that's also an amazing report for you to start analyzing where sales are coming from, because from the search query report, if you're a brand registered in Amazon, it tells you how people basically finding your products and your brand, right? So if you see, for example, that people, it tells you how many sales that keyword brought, add to cart, impressions, the percentage of control on that keyword. So then from there you can do a basic extrapolation of the data, understanding the sales that are coming from specific keywords, and then make also an understanding of which keywords are performing the best organically, and then you can use that to improve your advertising strategies, optimization, and things like that. Okay, so hopefully that answered the question. How do I show the structure sell price? Yeah, so this one is the option when you have the price. Let's say you have $30, you have a line, and then you say 24.99, or whatever is the price that you choose to. So the only way to do this, first of all, you need to have history that the price is consistent at the price point, right? It's not like you're gonna launch a product, right, and within 2 days you drop the price 50%, and that's gonna show, because you need to show consistently that you are selling a specific price, right? So, for example, usually we have found that on average you need to wait at least a month to create a history. So let's say you're selling a product at a price point of $30, that you're gonna be selling consistently at $30, and most likely within a month or so, if you drop the price to $24.99, you're gonna see that a strike through. Also, make sure that you don't abuse it. What I mean by this is, then don't lower the price and keep it there forever, because eventually Amazon is also gonna remove the strike if it sees that you just lower the price forever, right? So just play with it during specific season. Use it with specific times that you wanna sell more units, and you want to combine it with coupons, things, other things, but don't abuse it and have it all its own, because eventually Amazon, if it sees it's just a fake way of getting that discount, basically structure, is going to remove it from the listing. How do I submit a deal for Amazon Prime? I think, I mean, you have this question might mean two things. So the first one, Amazon Prime, yes, you can do discounts just for Amazon Prime members. You're gonna find that under the advertising tab. And then I think the other question might also refer to Amazon Prime Day. If you're referring also to that, unfortunately, the deadline just passed. I think 29th of April was the consideration deadline to submit your deals to for consideration for Prime. So unfortunately, if you didn't do that, you're not gonna be featured on Amazon Prime Day offers. But still, during that day, make sure you prepare for it, right? So, for example, one thing we usually advise is that you can also add a coupons, right? A normal coupon, so people can still see that you're running some kind of discounts, and make sure that you also prepare your advertising campaigns, right? So during usually those days you're gonna see cost per click go to the roof. So make sure you control your budget. Make sure you just target specifically on the keywords that you know for sure that are converting for you, and make sure that during that period you're not doing any experimentation when it comes to advertising, because most likely you're gonna spend ton of money because cost per click becomes so high that it's very difficult to make any sense of data. So make sure you just go secure on what is been working for you on your main top 5-10 keywords and focus on those just during that day or 2 days. Okay. Awesome. Do you recommend using fully automated AI tools for Amazon PPC management? Yes or no? So usually, for example, even ourselves when we work with clients, we use a hybrid approach. So we use human optimization side of it, and then we also use software. And the reason for that is because sometimes it's difficult to keep 24/7 optimization just using human interaction with your PPC campaigns. Realistically, you want to combine this with very powerful software so you can keep your accounts optimized. Even if at that specific period of the day, maybe a person is not able to look into the campaigns. So the most efficient way is to take a tool that you can create your own rules. So you can put your own metrics in terms of if these metrics are hit and this keyword is performing well, do this. If this keyword is performing bad, remove it, or different strategies that you can do with that. So tools that I can recommend for sure is Adatomic and Perpetua, amazing tools when it comes to PPC. Again, it all gonna come down to personal preference, to be honest. So it's all a matter of testing, and there are other amazing tools out there. I mean, I'm just talking about some of the ones I have the most experience using. But yeah, taste them, see if they adapt to you, because I know some of them have a like very robust rules when it comes to implementation. So see what is more fit for you and keep implementing them and testing them until you find the best one for you, Amazon business. Okay. Awesome. So let's see if we have a one more question. Um, Awesome. So I think the next question is this one. Do Amazon send reviews requests to customer automatically without me pressing the request button, or do I need to say an automatization? So yes, Amazon usually is gonna remind your customers to leave a review. However, I recommend that you still go inside your orders individually. I mean, usually recommend to use software for this because going one by one per order is gonna be very time consuming. So you can use again tools such as Helium 10 to automate the whole process. When an order goes out, you wait 5-7 days, you request a review. Or you can also use tools that basically allow you to do that within your Amazon Seller Central account to press a request a review among all your orders as a bulk action to be more time efficient. Okay, but yes, take advantage of that. Usually using that option help us to increase significantly when it comes to people leaving reviews on our Amazon business. Awesome. So I think that was the last question for today's session. Thank you very much for everybody that is sending this question, and thank you for everybody that is connecting today and doing these live sessions. I appreciate you being here. Remember that again, as I said at the beginning of the episode, we're going to be running this on a weekly basis. So if by any chance you can make it next week and you still want us to cover your questions, make sure to send them at email business@ecomcy.com, or make sure you leave it through our social media channels or even in the comments below so my team can add them to our next session. Okay. Finally, remember that we're dropping episodes every Monday and Wednesday. As I say, on Monday we just draw an episode with Steve Simonson around the state of e-commerce, and tomorrow we're gonna drop in a new episode. And finally, for all those joining today that might be also interested into learning and covering these sessions into Spanish as an option, we're also running sessions on Thursday, 5 p.m. GMT time for Spanish speaking audiences to also cover Amazon topics and questions and answers. Okay. So thank you very much, guys. I appreciate you being here. Remember to like, share, and subscribe if you like these sessions. Have an amazing week and definitely see you on the next one. Bye bye.